Hello and welcome to CTVR 280. Network and mentoring is the topic for this week. We are looking at chapters 11 and 12 for week 7. And we'll be going through and talking about how you can expand your network, how you can find mentors. And that's really the key when it comes to, expanding your group of potential contacts in Hollywood and really in any kind of sector. But in our entertainment sector, it's absolutely critical. So that's what we'll be taking a look at this week. As always, I'm Angelo Ford, your professor. I highly recommend that you check out the recommended films on Letterboxd, and you can reach out to me on any of my social media platforms. I have professional feeds on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find me all over the place. If you do need something in particular, you need to get a hold of me directly, feel free to email me on Canvas or aford@saddleback.edu. Both great ways to get a hold of me. So we're talking about network. The first thing that we really need to think about is expanding your contact list, your circle of friends, your circle of associates, people that you know in the industry. That's really the basis for all of our networking that we're looking at. It's absolutely true. The saying in Hollywood that it's all about who you know. It's not about what you know. It's not about how great you are. You could be the best director, best producer, best DP in the world. If you don't have the right contacts to put you into the circles of people who can actually get things made, it's all useless. So that's really what we're looking at this week. The other thing about expanding your list is there's going to be people that love your work. There's going to be people that hate your work. Sometimes those will be the same people in Hollywood. The more that you can expand your contacts out there, the more breadth your work will have. You can get more in front of more people and just more opportunity to get feedback and really a better understanding of your position and how you can improve yourself constantly. It's really, I can't stress enough how you can't get hung up on one person not liking your work, or one person even loving your work for that matter, if it's the wrong person without the right connections. So it really comes down to expanding that list. And today we'll be talking about ways that you can actually do that. One of the first things to remember is that networking is absolutely selling. You are selling yourself, and not in the world's oldest profession way. We're not recommending that at all. But your talents, your training, your tools, everything that you have to offer the industry, that's what you're putting out there. And networking is putting it in as many people as possible. So what I've done here, this is a typical sales funnel. Sales men, sales women use these funnels to kind of put their nets, if you will, out into the world to try to funnel them down into people that are actually on their team, making the sale, closing the deal, all that kind of stuff. So I've adapted it a little bit to be more applicable to networking. And the first thing to think about is awareness. Who is aware of you? Who are you, for that matter? Do you know who you are as a person? Deep down, what is it that your tools, your talents, your training, what is it that you have to offer the industry, to me as a producer, to Susie as a director? What do you have to offer the team? You have to be aware of what that is yourself, and then make other people aware of that. You have to build interest. Why should we care about you? What is this talent that you have that maybe somebody else doesn't? What can you bring to my project that somebody else cannot? All those kind of thoughts around building interest in what it is that you have to offer over the next person, because there's 10,000 other people out there, that are all competing for that same kind of interest in people's minds. I used to have a marketing professor that said that, marketing, selling, network is all boils down to three things: getting a share of somebody's mind so that they're thinking about you, so that they have interest in you; getting share of somebody's heart so that they care about you; and then finally getting share of wallet so they actually spend money on you. They commit to you, close the deal with you, give you the directing position. And that's really, what are we doing to build that in people's minds, hearts, and their wallets till they're actually making that commitment to you. And interest is really a big part of that. After people have decided that they have an interest in you, it's this idea of consideration. What can you be considered for? Why should they hire you? What is it that you're going to do for them that somebody else can't? That really should be focused on the next one, which is the intent. What is the intent that you bring to the table for them? How can you solve their problem? This is the core of what networking is, what selling is. How can you solve a problem that somebody has? What is it that you offer a distinct way of doing it faster, cheaper, in a unique way that solves their problem and takes away their pain points? We move down into evaluation. Are you the right fit for the position? Now they've considered you. They have an interest in you. They really like what you bring to the table. It looks like you can actually solve their problem. But are you really the right fit for their team? Will you fit in their organization? Do you fit on their crew that's going up to Vancouver to shoot for 3 months, in studios, or down to Louisiana for a month to film for a television show? How do you fit into that team? Are you the right fit? You have to figure out what it is that makes their team unique, interesting, what makes them all, come together and work together, and then show how you fit in there and how you help solve those problems. Finally, is the loyalty aspect of it. In selling, this is the closing the deal part of it. How do they make you part of their team? They want you there, and they're loyal to you as a part of that organization that they're in. This is, to me, really a massaged version of a selling funnel. We'll call it the networking funnel. And this is what you're constantly doing when you're out at the parties, when you're out meeting new people, when you're on the basketball court, just shooting some hoops with some local, crew members that might hang out in the same area. What you're talking about, you're trying to get to the bottom of this funnel, which is to become part of their team, so that you're the person they think of when a job comes up, an opportunity to go do something, a recommendation that they need. Your name is right there on the top of their brain. So where do we go to meet these people? Where do we go to meet new people? Some of the things are work associates. You can ask people at work if they have anybody that's, hey, I love to build models. And I'm looking to expand my web series where I talk about building models. Do you know anybody that might be interested in working on models? Or hey, I'm going to the basketball court this weekend, and it's twosomes weekend. I wonder if you know anybody that plays ball that would love to come down to the local court by my place and play some basketball this weekend. Talking to their friends is really a great way to expand your networks. Don't be afraid to ask people that you work with for recommendations of people that might be good to network. Don't be afraid to get out there into seminars. There are seminars on every topic you can imagine. TED Talks, specific to directing, master classes, all these different seminars out in the world. Expand your interest and go learn something new. And then when that talk is over, when the seminar is over, don't go up and try to, crowd the speaker like everybody else. Go look for the moderators. The person who was moderating the entire seminar. Talk to that person and ask them, what their interests are, how you can expand the idea, what else you should be looking for, to further yourself in that particular avenue. Moderators can be an absolutely gold mine for connecting you to other people. Remember, they know all of the people that are doing the talks. They know the people that are hosting these events. So these moderators are a really great force to talk to. Online communities that we're all used to using for social media, everything from Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, whatever it is that your online community that you like to use. I personally love Clubhouse for just networking and online community, meeting new people. There seems to be new ones every day, everything that you can think of. So utilize them for more than just chatting with your friends and sharing pictures, and posting things too. Join groups. There's great groups all over, all kinds of Facebook groups that are still very much active. I don't use Facebook all that much for social media anymore, but I still go and participate in tons of Facebook groups. There's all kinds of them on Clubhouse as well that are really great to pay some attention to. What it all boils down to is that we're trying to do networking. We're building our connections. We're trying to build relationships, really build our contact list. And we can do that through networking in this little chart here that has some great identities of communities, common interest, and just great things to get out there to do. Panels are another thing. Go sit on a panel, go down to San Diego, sit on a panel for television shows or writing or whatever it is that you have an interest in and you have some talent in. feel free to sit on, go participate in those panels and really work the room, get to know new people. Um, when it comes to workshops, there's tons of workshops out there that you can go participate in, rather even be a part of or even host. I go out and I give workshop speeches on writing, on directing, on producing at various other colleges, different groups, the Lo-Fi group here at Saddleback, Ladies of Filmmaking. I participate on them up in Pasadena. I go to other just venues in my local area. A friend of mine started a regional group called West Coast Filmmakers. I give talks at that. I participate in their online forums. So really build on your assets to get more people interested in you as a person, and again just continually expanding who it is that you know out there in the world. Film festivals to me are the creme de creme of networking. Unfortunately, we can't really go to them as much as we used to with COVID, but hopefully that changes soon. That doesn't mean that you can't participate in online film festivals. It's a great opportunity when we are able to start going to them again, to travel to some new locations, meet new people outside of your immediate circle. The same goes for film markets. There's the Hong Kong film market, the Germany film market, and of course our local one, AFM, the American film market, that's held up in Venice Beach, typically in November every year. These are awesome venues to meet new people. Even if you're not going to pay to get into the film market because you're not really looking to be a buyer of films, you just kind of want to hang out. You can often find ways to go get into these with friends, get invites, and basically just hang out by the pools. Sit outside by the fire pit and chat with people about film, all kinds of new things. Great way to just again expand your network. In-person communities, obviously, like I mentioned before, hanging out at the local ballpark, volleyball in your town, hanging out in a coffee shop where writers are known to hang out, and really participate in conversation with these people, and again try to expand this network as much as you possibly can. Of course, if you get the opportunity to give back to your alumni association, to your school, wherever it is that you graduated from, maybe they want you to come back and give a talk about filmmaking. Take advantage of those opportunities. I've done these. I have several friends that are high school teachers, and I've gone in and give presentations about being a filmmaker to high school classes for students that are interested in that, and then answering questions related to it. It's a great way to continually expand and meet new people. So these are just some of the places. There's tons more. You can be creative and think of all new places. Take a look in the book what it has to say about making new connections, spreading it out there. But again, the key of it is just to find and meet new people, not rather tell your stories and pitches to the same friends over and over again, because they don't want to hear it anymore. When we're talking about connecting with these new people, what does that actually mean? One thing to think about, if you're a shy person, you don't like going to new things, bring a friend. There's nothing to say you can't go to one of these workshops or, down to Comic-Con with a friend. It makes it even more fun, actually. And it shows, that you already have an established relationships with people. So consider bringing a friend when you go to these networking events. Don't just go to them alone. You want to identify ways that you can help people. So you have to ask questions. Think of it like you're on a date. For first date, you want to ask open-ended questions to really get to know somebody, understand what it is that makes them unique, and then figuring out how you can offer something to help them. You do that through finding commonalities, common interests, things that they're interested in that you're interested in. A great example is, the ski lifts at Park City. I was just up in Utah this week, and they say more film deals are made on the ski lifts in Park City than any one of the meeting rooms or coffee shops. And I believe it because, of a week being up there, every single day I met at least one new person on a ski lift. And you always just start talking. What is it that you do? Where you're from? And it's amazing how many people are filmmakers when you're sitting on those lifts up in Utah. It is like a commonality that people love to do. So find other things like that you can get into those groups of commonalities and really just share interests. And when you do, keep the conversations light. Don't go into these like heavy life or death, end of world, war all over the world conversations when you meet somebody new. Keep them casual, keep them light. Talk about the interest, talk about why you're there doing, why you're on the ski lift or why you're volunteering, with a group of people all together. What is it that, brought you there? And then when you get a chance, interject your abilities and your talents into that, especially when they say that oh, I'm putting together a team to make a movie, but I'm really having a lot of trouble with scheduling and budgeting. Oh, I love scheduling, budgeting. Those are really, my two biggest things that I enjoy most of filmmaking, and kind of work those into the conversation to, continually build on that. Um, Listening more than you talking is one of the best pieces of advice anybody ever gave me. Whether you're going on a date, you're looking for a new job, you're looking to find an internship, you're looking to expand your network. One of the biggest things that you can do is listen. You meet somebody new sitting at a bar in an airport, listen to their story, and then it gives you the ability to talk back with some intelligence. And they believe you actually care, because it sounds, and you do. You're taking the time to listen to what their story is. It makes it much easier to figure out a way that you can help them, a way that your talents and tools make sense in their world. So be sure to listen more than you talk. Um, and then always ask for a card. This goes back to selling. Always try to close the deal at the end of it. You're always trying to, get the final contact before you part ways. Make sure you ask for a card or a contact info or some other way that you might be able to get in touch with the person, to continue the discussion at a later date or something like that. Uh, so just a few ways to, things to think about when you're connecting with new people. Again, I'm sure that you can probably, if we were in classroom, there's plenty of other ideas that people have as well. Feel free to share those in the discussion boards as you're posting your comments. When you're starting a new conversation with somebody, one of the best things that you can do is to research those people first. If you're going to a workshop about screenwriters, see who the moderators are, see who the speakers are, and then do some research on them. What have they written? What are their interests? All that kind of stuff. It just makes starting a conversation so much easier. Oh, Mr. Ford, I heard that you were a C-17 pilot. What was that like? What was the most interesting cargo that you ever airdropped or flew? Somebody literally asked me that this morning in my class, by the way. And I thought, wow, this kid really, he took the time to go on to the lecture and read through it and see that I'm a pilot, and he knows that I've done airdrops. So he's done a little bit of reading, right? Very smart to do some research first. And then it makes it easier to start those conversations when you can just walk up to somebody and ask them about, their time on Walking Dead, or some suggestions they might have for bringing a short to Sundance, or, selling a movie at the AFM film market. Really easy to start a conversation when you have some back history about those people. So really consider that. When you do start the conversation, as I mentioned earlier, make sure you're asking open-ended questions. You're not just asking a question that somebody's going to say yes or no to. They're going to answer you back with a longer answer that then gives you the ability to ask for even more information, or branch it off in a different way. Don't get drunk. You have the opportunity so many times when you're at these networking events. I see and hear about it all the time. People go and they're having fun, and next thing you know, they've had 7 gin and tonics, or 4 cranberry and vodkas, and 2 Red Bull and gins or something. Don't get drunk. It's fine to have a drink. If you need a drink to loosen up, and you can drink responsibly, have a drink or two. Put you in a jolly mood. I know it does for me. And then end it there, so that you're not the fool dancing on the table at the end of the night, or getting kicked out of the bar. People don't want to associate with those people. It sounds like fun, it looks like fun, but I can tell you firsthand that those aren't the people that are closing the deals, or getting to move forward and into networking opportunities. So having a drink or two is absolutely fine, but be responsible. Don't do too much, and absolutely don't get drunk when you're at any kind of networking event. And then, of course, you need to be able to end the conversation. If the person that you're talking to is no longer making eye to eye contact with you, they're looking around the room, they're waving at other people, across the room. You've already gone too far. End the conversation. So the best thing to do is to get in there. You do some research. You start a conversation. You ask a few questions. Get the person interested in you, and then leave and go talk to somebody else. They're going to want to come back to you later in the night if they're really interested in what you had to say. And that's kind of the opportunity that you want to be creating all over the room. You're starting conversations, you're opening them up, you're getting people interested. Oh, I'm going to go over and talk to Jane for a while, or Jim for a while. And then that person's going to want to make their way back to you. You follow up with them, make sure you get that contact info, And then again, look at some of the follow-up strategies after the event. Send thank you information, thank you emails, cards, just little messages on social media, whatever it is that's appropriate, different follow-up strategies. Make sure that you're doing them and closing that whole loop with the conversation. So you're introverted, I'm introverted. You're the type of person that this is the absolute nightmare conversation to you, starting up conversations, asking people questions. You want none of it. You have to get over it. You will not be success. There's plenty of other opportunities that you can. My wife is a CPA. She's an accountant. In her world, being introverted is great. Sitting down in front of an Excel spreadsheet and doing that all day. But if she's not getting out there, meeting new people, bringing in new clients, everything out, all the work just goes away. So if you're not the type of person to be able to just strike up a conversation with somebody, tell a story, be jovial as you're speaking, you really have to work on it. And it starts with very small goals. You don't need to be able to do much. Go to these networking events, go to, the coffee shop, anywhere where there's opportunities to network, and just make eye contact with people. Somebody's looking at you and they smile back at them, make eye contact, look away. Go back to reading your book. That's it. Just practice that. Give that some time. Return that smile when you feel comfortable. Just making those little connections. And then when you get the chance, start some small talk with people. You're waiting in line with somebody for your coffee at Starbucks. Make small talk about how long the line is, or how great the cake pops look today. Whatever's on your mind. That's small talk, not big deals. And then, politely excuse yourself, go to the checkout counter, walk away. Do this at networking events as well. Walk up to somebody, introduce yourself, make eye contact, maybe ask one or two questions, and then, excuse yourself and go on to the next person. Keep practicing, keep building on that idea of these small things that you can do. So, even if they're the tiniest baby steps, whatever's comfortable to you, you don't have to immediately, go from making eye contact to making small talk. Spend a month, 2 months just making small talk and returning a smile to somebody in Starbucks in the line or something like that. Whatever's comfortable to you, but the key is that you're continuing to grow, and you'll eventually get to the point where you're able to actually talk to people at a networking event, or ask a moderator a question in a workshop, because it's critical that you get beyond. It's perfectly fine to be introverted. I mean, I know plenty of great people that are more on the introverted side. But to be successful in entertainment, to find employment in Hollywood, you're going to have to lean a bit more outside of that comfort zone, to get out there and really meet people. So what do you do when you do meet these people after you get these names? You get all these business cards. Create and maintain a database for yourself. What is it that people do? Who are they? Where do they work? What do they do? When are they in town? Why? Why does the connection to them make sense? I create database spreadsheets for everything. I have them for literally food, for places to stay, everything you can imagine. I love database, creating Excel spreadsheets. But it gives you a really great way to stay in touch with people, particularly if you know that they're coming to a conference, you're going to a conference. Keep updated notes on them. What are their hobbies? What are their passions? What are their needs and wants? All of these things you're only going to get by asking them, and engaging with them on social media, watching their pages on their feeds, following all of that. Yes, you're totally being a stalker, right? You're not doing it in a creepy way to try to ruin the person's life. You're doing it in a way to expand your network and really to help them, because that's how you're going to be able to continue to build the amount of people that are in your network and database. So be sure you're using those social media sites, Instagram and TikTok, and you're following up with people, you're connecting with people, and then you're reaching out with offers. If something comes up for you, you're passing it back to them, and you see that they post an offer on LinkedIn for something, you say, oh, I don't think I'm a right fit for that, but my friend so and so would be a great fit. Try contacting this person at this address, and extending those connections. This week's Chapter 11 exercise is on page 122. It asks you to identify 3 entertainment organizations, and then find one that you can volunteer at, one that you can attend a meeting at, and then one that you can assist their organization in somehow or another. That would be really ideal if you're able to do all of those. Really nice exercise there. This is really going to get you out there into the community and meeting new people. And then specifically attended an industry meeting. I had a professor that used to make us do this in my undergrad. You should research the event, find out what it is and what it's about. Go and meet some attendees. Maybe there's booths set up that they're selling different kind of software, or entertainment packages, or whatever it is. Meet some of those attendees, and then collect at least 5 business cards from the event. You do this once a quarter, and you're guaranteed that you're going to be expanding your network and meeting new people. It's a great thing to be able to do. Just to recap on the networking, the big thing right here, you're meeting new people, you're making new connections, you want to be positive, you want to be friendly. You're out and about in the neighborhood, you're just, constantly putting a positive vibe out there. It is really, there's so many books about the secret and the magic of this and that, and really there's no secret at all. Everybody likes being around happy, nice people. I mean, that's not a secret. So make sure you're one of those people and you're putting that vibe out there. Make an effort to meet new people and expand your circle in everything that you do. In the Starbucks line, in the self-checkout at Target. May make a comment about something that somebody's bought that you might have bought before. All kinds of different ways that you can think of to make those connections. And then when you make some connections, go beyond that to build relationships. Really put effort in, to grow those relationships, especially the ones that have potential to be more a network, more than just a basic network connection, maybe a mentorship like we're going to look at here in the future, in the next slides. So really be thinking about that as you're building your relationships. How can you share success among those, and bring something to the table? Then the last point is finding a mentor, which is a mentor. A great mentor is not someone who makes you more like them, but that brings out the best in you. Finding a great mentor is really difficult, and we'll be looking at that now here in the next slides as we move into chapter 12. Finding a mentor and nurturing the relationship. It's not just a one-way street, right? We're going to try to, make this, the mentor is getting something out of it as well. They're getting happiness from seeing you grow. They're getting more network connections because your friends are also interested in filmmaking, and they can help share those opportunities for working on a set. All of the different kind of ways that you can think of. A mentor, it needs to be a two-way street, not just them helping you all the time. When we say mentor, what is it that we're really talking about? I love this little, mentoring word cloud. Goals, careers, participants, relationship, communication, organization, progression. Think of all the different ways that, you benefit from having a mentor, and a mentor can benefit from having you. Finding a right fit is a critical part of being a mentoree in a relationship, and it just comes through experience, meeting with people, working with them. If you know that if you can already tell that you're not the right fit, moving on, breaking up the relationship in a kind way that makes sense and is easy on both parties. But because the key of it is you want to find natural alignments that work. Particularly in your current environment, who is it that in your class right now that you see as a possible mentor? Maybe it's somebody who comments on your discussions often, or gives you some really great feedback on the discussion boards, or that you work with at school, or a professor that gives you particular feedback that you like. Finding those natural alignments at a base level is really going to help you find a mentor that is a good fit in your everyday operations of what it is that you're doing. Next is a manager or a leader that you've impressed. You've sent a paper into your professor, and I'm like blown away by the concept, and I give you some really great feedback. Maintain that relationship with that person, and foster it. Really, really keep it alive in the future. The third one is a chance encounter with a guru. Maybe you meet a CEO at a workshop, and she's like blown away with this idea that you have for a film, or an idea, concept for a short story, or you go to a movie market, and there's a panel there that you participate in, and you happen to meet this great screenwriter who wants to stay in contact with you. You never know how you're going to come in contact with these guru leaders. You don't find them often, but when you find one and they want to have a mentoring relationship with you, really foster that and try to keep it alive as much as possible. People are always asking, what are the ways to be able to do this? How do I find these mentors? You say you're talking about, finding the right fit. How do I even find a right mentor? Well, the secret of it all is that if you have the right attitude, that's hardworking, you're showing up early, the right attitude for the situation. You have a good, compelling A story, like we talked about in the previous chapter. You've got some great, one-liners to be able to interject in there, and you have a killer work ethic. You go onto the set and you get everything done, and whatever it is, you're the PA in the office, and you're constantly getting everybody coffee and making sure paperwork is filed. The right mentors are going to come to you, and that unfortunately is the secret to it. You can't really find great mentors find you because of your attitude, your story, and your ethic, your work ethic. And really the best thing that you can do is to focus on those, and the rest of it will fall into place. So we're talking about, you probably heard me, basically we're leading towards these three types of mentors, and understanding how each one is applicable to your growth and success is really the key to it all. The three that we're looking at, that I've kind of already talked about a bit, is the peer mentor. These are people that are already in your work organizations, your classmates, colleagues. They're people that you can get good advice from, and you're kind of at the same level. It's like your teammates and people that are really good influences. Next is the advisor level. This could be a professor, a manager, an experienced connection that's been there, been around the block, and can give you some advice on what you can do and help you grow. And then, of course, the third, like I said, is the guru mentor, which is very scarce. Don't expect that you're ever going to have one. I didn't for a long time. Now I have three great guru mentors, as part of my life. One's a director of, multi-million dollar Hollywood movies. One is a multi-million dollar business of movie memorabilia and posters. And I've got some other great ones as well. They kind of happen just through life, being out there and me being a part of bigger things, bigger organizations, giving my best, having the right attitude, and them kind of gravitating towards me. Uh, and the same can happen to you in all three of these types of situations with mentors. Again, it all comes down to your attitude, your personal story, and really just always putting the best foot forward. You always have to nurture these relationships. The first way to do that is to appreciate them. Reflect on your mentor. Don't be a burden. Send small tokens of thanks when you get the opportunity. Reciprocate. When opportunities come up that aren't a good fit for you, pass them along to your mentor. Those peer mentors that are constantly like writing great feedback on your discussions. If something comes up for you, but you're a great opportunity to work on a project this weekend, and you're going to be at your mom's 30th anniversary, pass that information over to one of your other people who can work on that, instead of just like not mentioning it or letting somebody else find it. Not over asking is an absolute key. Small favors here and there are great, but don't be constantly burdening your mentor with your problems that need to be solved. Don't be asking for more than what that mentor is willing to give, and it's just a thing that you're going to have to feel it out and experience it to know where that line is. But you should be able to identify where it is and then not cross it. And then you want to succeed. That's the biggest thing that you can do to nurture the relationship, because your mentor sees that their efforts are coming to fruition. Show that their investment of time and resources are worth it because they were a mentor to you, and then take that and pass it along to somebody else by being a mentor yourself. Chapter 12 exercises on page 132. It's got a couple things again. One is to check in via email with your mentors. It's simple. How you doing? What's going on in your world? This is what I'm up to. I hope you're doing great. Professional updates, opportunities that are coming along, things that are happening in your world. And then, of course, if you are looking for something, ask for it. If you're looking for a job that that they're a part of, ask for it. That's really the first part of the exercise. And then the second one is to send inexpensive gifts to your mentors. these don't have to be fancy, again, especially on like the peer level. It can just be like a little snack bag. You see them working on the same classroom every week, and you know that they normally drink blue Gatorade, and there's no blue Gatorades on the vending machine. But there's one on the other side of campus from where you're coming from. Pick one up and bring it to that friend. Items of commonality are some options, things that they're interested, that you're interested in. I have some friends that collect little spoons. I have other friends that collect, mugs. I'll pick those up from around the world if I see one really cool that I think that friend would like, and give it to them as a small token of my appreciation over the time. If it's like a manager and that you're working as you've worked for a PA as in the past, and you're staying in contact with them, and the office loves cupcakes, order some cake pops to be dropped off, delivered to the office for them. Small things. Again, it doesn't need to be huge. Desk collectibles are another great thing. People love having stuff on their desk. Um, so, finding little trinkets that can be contributors. I was just looking for something around me, but there's not much around me here. Little trinkets that can go on their desk, things like that. You can use your imagination, read in the book a bit more. It doesn't need to be fancy or expensive. They're just really small little tokens to remind people that, you're glad that you're in a mentor relationship with them. That is this week's presentation. We're looking at expanding your network, getting you a mentor. That's kind of the big goal for chapters 11 and 12, I believe it was. Let me take a look. Yep, 11 and 12. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly on Canvas or by my email. Please visit the Canvas module. Make sure you go through there, read through all the links, see everything for this week, and hope you have a safe week. Talk to you soon. Thank you.